Hey, this is Lilia from Intelligent, and today I want to talk to you about a technique that will literally change the way you feel and speak English. When we're learning a foreign language, it's really crucial to understand how that language works. In linguistic development, in understanding and learning of a language, we have a distinction that we call intrinsic grammar. And that feeling of intrinsic grammar is what it is. It is a feeling. I've got a video on this channel that is titled Language is a Feeling, and I highly recommend that you go and check that out. What I mean when I say intrinsic grammar or language is a feeling is that the language we speak is not just a random combinatorial system of different words and expressions that we put in line to create a thought that we verbalize. The thought that comes first is just energy, is that feeling that we later verbalize and put into words. And how we do that varies from language to language. That's why we cannot translate one language into another language without a loss of naturalness. Therefore, when we look for direct equivalents of certain words in a language, we may end up with a very unnatural sounding expression. Therefore, it's really important that we learn about the intrinsic grammar and that we learn about the feeling that preempts this intrinsic grammar in different languages. And it's really crucial that we learn how the intrinsic grammar of a speaker who speaks a foreign language is different from the intrinsic grammar of our own when we speak our mother tongue. We don't question those things very often, to be fair, do we? Because we're born in a culture that speaks a certain language, that passes on that language to us, and we just absorb that language and we keep speaking it on a day-to-day basis without really questioning what language is that much. I want to share a quick technique with you today that will help you develop this feeling of language, this intrinsic grammar understanding and feeling in the English language. And also feel free to transfer this technique to any other language of your liking. This technique is called prediction. Notice, when you listen to someone speak your first language, the flow of your understanding is quite smooth and seamless. You can predict very naturally what that person will say next. For instance, when I'm creating a sentence, you can quite easily feel that you know how I will end my sentence, don't you? When you're listening to someone say something in your first language, you can also feel that person making a certain point. And you can probably predict quite accurately whether they're going to use an adverb or an adjective, or a verb, or a prepositional expression or something like that to complete their thought. So that's something I want you to encourage to think about when you're listening to someone speak English to you. Let's practice right now. I will say a few things. Couldn't you predict that word? And your job is going to be to try and predict what I'm going to say. That's it. We've basically practiced it just right now. That's all you need to do. This technique will help you immensely if you're planning to do an exam, such as IELTS, when you have to listen and give your responses in a certain order, or when you're reading things and you're being asked a question. And plus, it works very well because it adds to your fluency a great deal. Every time you listen to someone say something, make sure you try and predict what they're going to say next. See if that is accurate. Make sure you don't need to guess the exact phrase. Guessing a part of speech is just great. Many learners mess up parts of speech because the ideas that they want to convey in their first language are conveyed in different parts of speech that are expressed in a different fashion in English. Therefore, when people start translating parts of speech that they would naturally use in their first language into their second language, they very often inhibit the natural flow of that second language, and they end up sounding contrived, artificial and fake, and not very fluent. There was also a technique that I have employed when I was learning my English, and that is something that I'm going to pass on to you and encourage you to see how it works in your experience. I'm wishing you a wonderful day and thank you very much for listening. Make sure you click the like button and share this video with a friend if you have found it useful. And I will talk to you again very, very soon. Bye-bye for now.